come in. Hey everybody, he's back. I know, did you miss me? It's only been, what, 5 hours since I devoured that carrot cake for you all to see on my cycle diet refeed. But I'm back. I've been telling you about this glute project I've been working on for ladies. You've been watching me on Facebook Live with the guy candy version of Andy Sinclair, so I think it's only fair we have an eye candy version for the men. Just kidding. I got a great model for the glute training. Krista, you want to come in and join us? So this lovely lady is Krista. She's been working on my glute circuit training that we're going to be having come out in a little while. And you can see why. Krista, just show the audience how we look and give Andy time to get a shot. So Krista's been working on the glute exercises with me and the glute circuit. Krista, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Tell them what it's been like working on the glutes so far.
It's been really good. It's been very challenging, but it's great.
Learning anything?
Yes, a lot.
Okay.
Balance.
So we're going to show you a couple things we're working on because this is a metabolic body weight glute circuit. The last thing people should be doing is a whole lot of resistance when working glutes because you don't want to build your butt too big. Obviously, most ladies don't. And this is also a beginner to advanced level and specifically targeted at ladies over 40. So we want to keep the movement simple, but also something you can advance. So for instance, one of the exercises we're going to show you, very simple to do, is just a single leg glute extension from plank. And then we're going to show you ways that we progress that. So she gets in a basic plank position, and then she just does a simple straight leg glute raise and a touch and go, not a bounce off the floor. And you can see how that's working to tighten up her glutes. So very, very effective. And then next leg. So each side, and you can see how that engages the glutes. And from the plank there, you know, she wants to make that tighter on the anterior oblique system. She'll go into a lockout position of the push-up. So just get into a full lockout. Same exercise. Okay, so she gets a little more range of motion there, but now she's engaging the anterior oblique system, which is going to drive force through the shoulders and into the abs as well. She's going to lift that. Boom. So that's already a way of a simple progression. Okay, Krista, stop. Tell them where and how they should be feeling that, and we'll show them how to progress it some more.
Squeezing and just really feeling it.
Okay.
Through your glute and my shoulders.
Turn around and show them where exactly.
Right here
So
is where I'm feeling it.
not just the glute, but the glute ham tie-in. So now we're going to show a way to make that progressed even more. So cameraman, get out of the way. So now we just add, what do we add? Range of motion. So just wait a sec, Krista, that's not enough for you. Since we're live, we got to show off a bit. So she's going to get on now, back into the plank position, but she has to do a lockout. So now she steps off, and she just does. Now look at that range of motion. Wow. Walk around, cameraman. Get a shot from every angle. So we can see now she's just created a monster range of motion. And again, body weight glute circuit, because you want to tone the glutes. You don't want to build them. So she switches sides. Boom. Look at that working. Come in here, cameraman. Look at the flat back that she maintains. All right. So now we've progressed. Now she stops there. And then we can just keep adding that progression. There's many ways of adding progressions, the simplest of which is adding range of motion. Then you can add kinetic chain movements. We're going to come to that later on if you get the product. But I'm going to do another yoga block, which just, again, now she's in an even greater range of motion. So she comes back, and then she steps off. Now watch the monster range of motion she's in. Look at that. Boom. Boom. And now she's got a complete engagement of the anterior oblique system, the posterior oblique system, all the way from what we call toenail to fingernail, right? So we've increased the range of motion exponentially. Boom. 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 Come back here and shoot this. If you can, cameraman. Just keep going for a second, Krista. I want to shoot it from behind so you can see the huge range of motion that she's getting now versus what we started with from just the basic plank. Wow, is that impressive. So that's just, we started with a simple straight leg glute extension from plank, and then we showed you ways to progress it just with range of motion alone. And we can progress it in other ways, like imbalanced stuff that we've been doing within the product that we can show you another time. Tell them a little bit about that, Krista, and then we'll set up for just another example.
Feels really good. Really burns, and the range of motion it makes such a big difference.
And you can see just from a demo that she's got a bit of an oxygen debt there, so metabolic effect, because the product is actually called Bodyweight Metabolic Glutes. So not only are we targeting glute toning and training and range of motion, freedom of motion for the hips through the glutes, but we're also targeting it in a metabolic enhancement training methodology where you're getting metabolic effects for doing it. So you get a twofer, right? You get the glute expression and focus for tone and lifting and rounding the glutes rather than building them, big difference. But you also get the metabolic effects because it's not about magic exercises, it's about proper sequencing of exercises. So are there any questions there, cameraman?
Yeah, we got one from Sherry. She wants to know if those can be a substitute for using a stability ball under the hips.
Well, that's a whole different thing. We have glute hip extensions in this protocol as well, but we also threw a few tweaks in it that really created monster movements as well. So can it be substituted? Yes, but you have to remember you're going from supine to prone, and then that affects the engagement of the posterior oblique system versus the anterior oblique system. So you can do those things, but it should be within the proper exercise sequence. So that's very important as well. And Krista, you've done the glute extensions from plank, and you've also done the glute hip extensions from the stability ball. Maybe talk a little bit about how different they feel and why.
The stability balls I find a lot harder just because you're balancing. And it was just having to keep your feet on there.
Right.
It was really hard.
Right. So, Krista, if you just turn it back to the camera again. So what we're after with this project, folks, is not just you want round glutes, but you want no space between that glute ham tie-in that women are always after. You want to fight, especially over 40, the effects of what I call gravity butt, where your butt just starts to sag because of gravity. It doesn't have to be that way, but you also want round, all right? Most ladies want round and lifted glutes, okay? So the important thing to remember there is a lot of times training with resistance, good exercises, lunges, squats, deadlifts, but they have the potential to build the glutes. And if you're already naturally, as most women are, pear-shaped rather than triangle-shaped, then you're going to accentuate that look, which most women want the opposite. They don't want to accentuate that look. They want to de-accentuate that look. So they want to create that triangle look, cap shoulders, narrow waist. But if you're wide in the pelvis, as most women are, then you want to lift and tone the glutes, not so much as build them. So we're going to show you another. As much as there isn't magic exercises, there sure are some monster fun ones to do. So we'll finish. We're only going to be on here briefly, folks, because I've been live twice today, and I want you all to be able to keep your lunch down. You don't have to look at me that often during a day. So we're going to show you another monster that we've used. Any other questions before I get to it?
Nothing yet.
All right, good. You and I need a drink. All right, so this is a Bodyweight glute hip shake. Very, very monster exercise. I'm going to demo it, and then Krista's going to demo it. You won't see this one too often, and it's too bad because, wow, can it make a difference for ladies in terms of what we just said. Massive effects through the shoulders and the anterior oblique system, but then when you see Krista doing it from behind, you'll see the effects on the glutes. So you're going to use a body blade. I had the monster-sized body blade. You're going to interlock your hands. You're going to start creating motion, and then you're going to create monster motion. And then as you do that, I'm showing you the front version. The back version looks like this. Okay, so you can see automatically tremendous forces through the glutes. So as we say, the alphabet of training is the ground, gravity, and the body. And if you know how to manipulate that, you can create a lot of fun stuff to do. So Krista, start showing them this monster body blade, abs, glute shake, and then I'll get you to just spin around and do it from the back. But start from the front. So she's going to interlock her hands, and she's going to start creating force in the body blade as much as she can. Look at her hips. All right, shaking back and forth. They have no choice because they're trying to counteract the momentum forces on both sides. So just pause there. So I just demoed it for 5 seconds and I'm out of breath. So this is a monster, folks, just a monster. So I'm just going to turn around now and show you how that looks and why it's part of our glute project. You won't see this everywhere. And then create force in there. Look at that, folks. Look at that. Boom.
It's hard.
And doesn't that remind you of those old, in the 50s, I'm dating myself now, where you used to put you turn the machine on and you'd have that thing gyrating your butt cheeks back in the old 50s and 60s. But this is actually, you're creating the muscular force, and that what creates the muscular toning and stuff. I don't know if you can even describe that, but try to tell people what this actually feels like.
It's hard to explain, but you can feel it everywhere, and it's hard.
So even though it's targeted at the glutes, the fact that it involves so many forces in terms of stabilizing forces, concentric forces, eccentric forces, and again, what we know about training is powered from the ground, driven through the core, that's when you're going to get the most effect. So in this glute project that we're doing, we have everything. We have supine position, we have prone variations from the plank, and then we have a lot of range of motion stuff to tighten and lift and round the glutes without necessarily building them. I just wanted to introduce you all to the lovely Krista, who's been helping me with this. And again, we needed a female version of Andy to sort of counteract all the male guy candy going on here. So we got an eye candy version. And of course, why not do a metabolic glutes project? Because most ladies are after that. If there's no questions, we'll sign off. Any questions for Krista or myself? All right, so check this out, folks. Feel free to share it. Follow us. We'll be coming at you with more. We shoot more of these videos, and then we'll come at you with more stuff with the lovely Krista in the future. And Krista, anything to say to my audience?
No, thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time.